Good morning, everyone. Robbie here from Splash Painting. You are watching Coffee with Contractors. Today, my guest is none other than Tyler. I wanted to reach out to a cabinet guy because being a contractor that does cabinets is pretty hard. How you doing this morning, Tyler?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. I saw you just down your coffee this morning. So introduce yourself to everyone if you don't mind.
So I'm Tyler. I'm the bearded painter from New Jersey. I smell funny and I look half homeless.
It's the hat.
It's the hat. Yeah.
It's the hat.
Yeah, it's the hat. There you go. We should tag Troll Clothing in this and see if
we
they
will.
throw some
We'll
hats.
have to let Troll know the ugly contractors are wearing their clothes now.
Yeah.
I mean, I got this
shirt.
I found
I
this
like your shirt. Yeah.
I know. I found this
Look at
shirt. Look at this. Some homeless dude just sent this to me.
Oh yeah. That's definitely a homeless shirt right there.
It is. My wife says I'm only allowed to wear it outside the house, so.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Hey, well, I appreciate your time. Want to discuss business. So you're out in New Jersey. You are one of the premier cabinet makers in the U.S. or cabinet applicators in the U.S.
Sure.
You have quite a following. Where did this start? How did you get into this business?
The cabinet part or painting?
Just painting in general. How did this kind of flow into what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I started off working for a painter when I was like 14 or 16, somewhere in there. My first full-time job, though, I worked on a farm when I was 12, so I always worked. And then I got to working for a painter 14, 16, and then really liked it, really was pretty good at it, felt okay about it, and then worked for another painter, and then the economy tanked. So whatever time that was, like 2000 and I guess 9-ish, and I worked for an HVAC company for 6 years. During that period, I took on side jobs at night and on weekends for painting. I got married when I was 20, and we had a baby at 21. So I needed to support my family, and so I worked 2 jobs, which was the HVAC thing, and then working painting at night. And then after 6 years doing that, I got really tired and decided that I should go full time with my own painting company. And it was just referrals, you know. I a lot of friends recommended me, a lot of family members recommended me, and then that only lasted like a month or so, like by referrals. But then I jumped on Facebook and I went on all those like buy here, pay here, or buy here, trade, whatever pages, and I advertised on like 50 different towns, and I booked out for like 3-4 months of work. And
nice.
So,
and at that time you were just doing solo painting. You didn't have a crew.
Yeah.
Were you doing cabinets at that time, or were you just kind of doing whatever anybody wanted done?
So I was doing pretty much what everybody wanted done, but I did towards the end do one set of cabinets by myself, and I brushed them, and I used like trim paint, and I put like a glaze on it and like 27 coats of poly, and I think I charged them like $900 or something. So it was pretty ridiculous. I actually have to back up because I'm parked in front of a motorsports store. So they're just opening up, and they're like bringing out all the quads and stuff, and I was like parked right where they need to park them.
Oh, nice.
So I just backed up. We're good.
You park safe. I'll ask you some questions then. So,
okay.
How long did you do your solo thing for? Then when did you decide that you were ready to branch out? I think as contractors, that's one thing we struggle with is when is the time hot, right? Or when's the iron hot for you to branch out? Were you looking at how much income you were doing, or just the amount of jobs you were getting requested to do?
To like what, hire or?
Yeah, when you first hired your first employee.
Okay. So, um, yeah, it was just the influx of jobs and how big they were. Um, I got, uh, let's see, it was just my brother and me for a while. I hired him, and I mean, I think I was paying him like $9 an hour or something, and we were just touring around doing bedrooms. Um, and then that was probably 6 months in, when I hired my brother, and then I hired my second guy about a year in, and we started doing more like full houses, and um, we took on some other stuff. And then about 6 months after my second guy, I got hooked up with a maintenance contractor, and
Yeah.
we did one, two, three, four, five condo buildings, which equaled up to I think 30 condos or something like that. And we did all the exteriors. Um, so that was cool. That was like my first big job,
Mhm.
and that was when I started just hiring people left and right. Anybody that said they could paint, I hired them. Uh, and quickly found out that everybody says they can paint and no one can actually paint. So
So everyone's a contractor.
everyone's a contractor. Everyone's got 30 years experience. Everyone has had their own painting business. And, the first guy, he literally came on the job site. He's like, yeah, I own my own thing. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's go. And he was like, sure. I'm like, I need you to go oil prime this little piece of wood over here. He's like, all right. He goes and he literally grabs a paintbrush, like, like, like with 3 fingers all the way at the end of the paintbrush and is going like this. And he painted this whole piece of wood. It took him 6 hours for like a 10-inch by 10-inch piece of wood to oil prime it. So I fired him. He
It's
no
tough.
longer he
It's
no
tough.
longer works for me. Yeah. So, but now we got a whole bunch of good guys that work for me. So it's completely different. So
Well, you and I have been friends for a while. I appreciate the
yeah.
information. And so what you're saying is do not hold a brush with 3 fingers or
Yeah,
your
it's not a
pinky
good
out.
idea. Yeah, it's not a good
Okay.
idea. It's not very productive. No.
No, no. So we've been friends for a while. When I first talked to you, you were doing house painting. But if I understand correctly now, you are solely doing cabinets now.
No, we do house painting too. Um,
So you're still dabbling in the residential repaint. You don't do any new construction right now, though.
Not as right now. I do have like some contractors I will do that for, but they're
Hmm.
very select. So I don't work for just anybody. Um, I work for custom home builders that I'm sorry, my voice is like shaky. I work for custom home builders that are willing to pay a premium for a good paint job. That's who I'll work for is if it's new. So maybe like one a year, like at most, not if that. Um, so it's not a lot.
Yeah. Well, you caught a you raised the dog's ear, as they say. You talk about pricing. Now, being a
Yeah,
contractor, one it's hard determining your pricing. It's
for
finding your
sure.
value.
Yeah,
So discuss if you don't mind, like the transition from when we know you started, you were doing these $900 cabinets. Now cabinets are there, and every painter or what doesn't matter what contract business you're in, you all have a different way of managing your price point. But what have you
sure.
found that's the most successful way for you to do it?
Um, so I price out per door, per drawer. I don't price out the boxes. I know some guys like will measure up the whole thing and they'll price out like by measurements. I don't do that. I kind of just think that's annoying to be honest with you. I'll take forever measuring.
Yeah.
So I go in and I count out the doors and the drawers, and uh, the drawers are obviously smaller than the doors. So for me, I go, okay, that extra charge priced in the same way, that extra charge or whatever for the space would equal out to how much it would cost to do the boxes. So that's pretty much how I price out cabinets. I started off not doing that. My first set was literally like I called my uncle. And I'm like, hey, how much do you charge for cabinets? And he's like, like $1,000. And I'm like, all right, I'll charge 900 because I've never
Yeah.
done it before. So he's like, all right. And it took me to do those cabinets literally took me 14 days. So you can imagine how much money I made doing that.
That's a lot. That's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
a lot of money. $900 in 14 days is a lot of money. So now we're up to 155 between 155 and 200 depending on what we're doing per door per drawer. So we've gone from, I mean, a 34 piece set is about $5,500.
Yeah.
So from $900 to $5,500, and that's just if we just paint them. Now we offer custom carpentry. So we'll add like crown molding to the cabinets or shaker style panels to the cabinets, and that raises the number tremendously as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, and that's your pictures look amazing. We'll tell everyone where they can find you after this. You do some amazing work, and that transition that you've made, it's not easy. I think a lot of people think that this is easy, but when you're giving someone a $5,000 bid, you're going to their home. It's for me, I can say sometimes I'm like, ooh, is this the right bid? But you have to have that confidence. It's not an arrogant confidence. It's the application process.
Yeah, you have to know the application process, and you have to know like I'm not trying to brag.
No, say it. Like you're good. You're good.
But I'm one of the best in New Jersey. So like I can do that, and the products that we offer, there's only one other guy in the state using the product that I have. So you're talking about a completely elite service. This is premium. This is like when guys do fine paints of Europe, right? They could charge a premium because people that's what that calls for.
Oh yeah.
So the way we're doing it, we're just entering into this upper level market with this product. So in the next year to 2 years, we'll be probably close to $300 a door, and people will pay for that because they're like, you know what, this is the best product, this is the best company, this is a completely I really won't have competition, and that's what I want. I want people to call me because they know that they're getting the best.
Well, you're talking about premium. Now I know that you've gone through. We used to do cabinets. I've actually stopped doing cabinets. You have to have the right. You have to have the right crew. I know that you have the right crew, and we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about premium products. You don't use Sherwin-Williams. You're not using PP&G. You're exclusively using Benjamin Moore. Am I correct?
So I'm not using Benjamin Moore on my cabinets.
Okay, what are you using now?
I'm using Misley 2K Poly.
Okay. What makes that stand out because you've used the whole Rolodex of whatever paint company says, here's a cabinet paint. What makes that stand out where that you're going to be that elite with that product?
So one small factor, we could just even talk about cost. So cabinet coat, depending on which is from Benjamin Moore, cabinet coat, depending on your pricing, could be anywhere from $46 or $36 a gallon to $60 a gallon, somewhere in there. Advanced is around that $60 a gallon mark.
Yeah.
This product, the Misley 2K Poly, is $125 a gallon. So You're talking about something that's double the cost, right? It's imported from Italy, so we get it shipped in from Italy. Then we get it shipped out to a world-class tinting station out in Pittsburgh. They're the ones that really, I just call the tinting company, and they're the ones that get the product for me. But that's the process, is they get imported in from Italy. They tint it to whatever color. It could be Sherwin-Williams, Behr, Lowe's, whatever. They'll tint it up, and then they ship it out to me. My average order from them is about $500 to $600, an order. And, that's it. I mean, it's a 2-part system. So we're mixing the hardener in with the pigment, and we have to, have the proper ratio with water and everything like that. So it's a completely different system. And then just talk about the durability of it. This is an actual cabinet factory finish coating. This is not a latex or urethane latex hybrid. You know what I mean? This is an actual finish coating for cabinets. It's meant for it. And you can feel the difference. It feels, you're not going to get that rubbery feel like you do with like that latex paint. This feels like almost like a lacquer. Even though it's a two-part polyurethane system, it feels like a lacquer. Yeah. So it's an awesome, it's a premium product. And if you don't believe me, that dude ZK Painting, he just started using it. So and we all know that he only uses top of the line best products. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think that answered your question.
It did. How have your guys transitioned? Because I know I mentioned it more because I knew a few months ago or last year sometime that's what you were using was the Advanced, because I had done a project that we talked about.
Sure.
How has your crew transitioned? Because you're pretty, and if your crew watches this, nothing against it, but you're pretty hard on your crew. You have to be, though. They may look at you like a big teddy bear with your beard, but you're pretty like, hey, I want this done.
Yeah.
How was that transition, though?
So the one guy that gave me the hardest problem about it, he still did it. He gave me problems about everything, to be honest with you. And
there's always one.
And he was my brother, so that makes it even fun. But he actually is. We let him go a few days ago, just because we needed somebody that was going to be on board with what we're doing. All my other guys are 100% on board with whatever I throw at them. I support what they do. So if we start doing this and I'm like, hey, like here's the tools that we need to do this job. Here's the product. This is what it's supposed to look like. If I'm not happy when I walk on the job site, I'm like, hey, this door needs to be redone again. They're like, okay, boss, no problem. Because at the same time, they'll always come to me and be like, hey, can we do this? Or I think I need this tool to do that. And I get it for them. So there's like this mutual respect that like I'll do what they ask to make their jobs easier. And then therefore they do what I ask because of the job. So total benefit to both ends,
No, that's good. With that said, sorry to hear about your brother. No, he was a pillar. He'll be
don't
back.
Worry.
He'll be back.
I'm sure he'll be back. In a year or so.
It's not a big deal. We love it.
Yeah.
I like to ask you guys this that are doing these jobs out there. One, what's the biggest thing that you bring strength-wise to your crew? And then what's the weakest thing? When I say weakest, like what's the thing that you sit in the back of your head and think, man, I wish I could get this better with my guys or with the business itself?
So I'm probably my weakest point. We'll just go for the worst first. My weakest is probably, you know what? I'm gonna have to move, but I can talk at the same time because there's like 25,000 quads now coming out, and I have a feeling I'm in
maybe it's
where they need to go.
You're supposed to buy a quad. I don't think Mom will be mad.
I really want a UTV, to be honest with you. So what you would call it? My weakest part is probably okay. There's a Wawa up here. I'm not really good at like numbers just yet, as far as keeping track, and I think that in that aspect, it kind of weakens the crew, because like I want to buy them more things without them telling me, and if I had a better track record of the numbers, like I would be able to just say like, hey, I can afford this. Here you go. Like you don't even need to ask. And I think that sometimes puts a delay on production because like it might not be the best tool for the job, or like maybe our air scrubber isn't the best one, so it's not collecting all the dust, so they have to clean the dust after every single job. And you know what I mean? Like where if I had enough money, or at least a better record of the numbers, I'd be able to say like, hey, here's the new dust collector, like without even them asking for it in a sense.
Now I think a lot of these painters that are doing cabinets are making their own. So we'll have to find.
They are, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a process, but it's just as expensive as one that's better already made.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, let me go buy this one. Like now, if I was Nick Slavic, that would be different. But I'm not Nick Slavic.
If we were
Even though,
if we were all Nick, we'd have the best one around.
oh my God, it would be completely different.
His is pretty amazing.
I'm glad he's growing his beard back though. At least he looks pretty good. You know, I think you're next though, right? Your beard's supposed to be coming in. I see a little 5 o'clock shadow.
There is there. I recently had this loss of weight, and I carry a lot of fat in my face. I wanted to shave it just to see. I'll always be a little beard. I'll never have that big beard
Always
again.
be a little beard. Always be a little beard. So what the other part of that question I think you said was, what is the strength that I bring to the company?
What do you know that you bring that no one else is gonna bring to Tyler's painting?
So I'm gonna bring motivation, right? I always encourage the guys to go for it. Like if they think that like they get a little nervous about, let's say, spraying, right? And they're on the HVLP and they're like, oh, I've never done this before. I'm like, go for it. Worst case scenario is you're gonna screw it up. You gotta sand it and you're gonna do it again. That's the worst case scenario. But you have to take every opportunity that's thrown in front of you to grow and to learn and to get better. Like that's what Painting by Tyler does. We strive to be the best. So in every day, even if it's the same application that you're doing every single day, try to do it better. Try to get better.
Yeah.
So I look at that as like a teacher and a motivator. I also feel like I bring new ideas all the time. I think, and that's that entrepreneur mindset that everybody talks about. I'm always like, hey, what else can we do? Like that's where the carpentry came in. You know, one of my guys came up to me and he said, hey, I love painting. He's a fantastic painter. And he was like, but I really love carpentry, like fine finish carpentry. So I'm like, all right. So I'll start advertising for carpentry. And I was just planning on like 2 days a week, like 3 weeks out of the month kind of thing, like small stuff.
Yeah.
And he crushed it and I marketed it. And now he's busy every single day for the next month doing carpentry work. Probably the next 2 months, to be honest. And I had to hire him a helper. I bought him a van. So like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, I just can think of new ideas. And then when I think of these new ideas and I actually apply them, they take off. So I think I'm always bringing new life. Obviously, I'm bringing new business. You know, I'm the heart, in a sense, I'm the heartbeat and the brain of Painting by Tyler. You know, and the rest of the guys are the body. Yeah.
You have to be. And I think that's good that you and I have that same mentality. When I hire new guys, we just hired 2 new guys. The very first day I had them spraying walls. They were scared, but I told them it's just paint. It's,
right.
It's easy to fix.
It's just paint. Exactly. We can fix it.
So if we were to run into you and you weren't painting, what would you be doing?
I'd probably be drinking beer.
There's no whiskey in that coffee, right?
No, not yet. Maybe in a couple hours.
Maybe a couple hours.
I mean, it's only 9 o'clock, so around 12 o'clock, maybe I'll have a lunch drink.
So what you're saying, if anyone's in the New Jersey area and they want to have a beer,
hit me up. Let's go have a beer.
Yeah.
I love craft brewery and I love whiskey, so you know I know a whole bunch of good spots. You know?
Now you're pretty private with your private life. I know that you have a family.
Yeah. Sure.
I know that this last year you've really been working on a work-life balance. Has that worked out for you? The things that you've changed, and was it hard, or did you find it actually easier since you implemented that in?
So, to answer your question, is it working? No. Mainly because we're business owner, right? Like
yes.
So even when
you
the
have
phone,
you have to have a work-life balance.
You have to. You do, and my tendency and my the way I'm wired is I always want to work. I love work. I love my business, and I do love my family very much. But it's just the way I'm wired. I could literally work 20 hours a day if I wanted to and get 2 hours of sleep and wake up and go again. So what I try to do, and it's very difficult, it's super difficult, is to come home, shut it down, spend time with the family. But even at that, like we have so many devices now, right? That even if my phone's off, like it's synced up to my iPad and I forgot to turn the iPad off. So I'm receiving Facebook messages on that. And I'm like, oh, let me answer these real quick. And then
Yeah,
next thing
these things will get you in worse trouble than your phones.
oh my God, it's terrible. And then now I got an Apple Watch. So even if I shut my phone off, the Apple Watch is telling me somebody's calling me or texting me. And then I'm like, oh, let me answer it. So it's definitely hard. I am getting better at it. I'm getting better at, like, when I'm home, to try to spend the time with the kids, try to spend the time with the wife, and not just be there, like actually be there.
Like be
Like
present, know what's going on.
Wrestle with my son, help my daughter do her homework. I don't the baby give her a paintbrush and let her paint all over the walls. I don't know with her yet, but I've made some mistakes. But the wife, just sitting down, even if it's like after the kids go to bed, and sitting in the bed and just talking about the day, or we're both Christians, so every once in a while we'll talk about stuff we've read in the Bible or have listened to. I'm probably one of the worst examples of a Christian. So I sometimes I say some stuff that's really messed up, but so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk.
You know what? God has a good sense of humor. He just put it in a few of us, and we get it.
Yeah, I mean, he made me, and I'm an ugly mofo, so he's probably like, "Ah, Tyler, I got you." But yeah, it's definitely hard. And I don't see it being easy anytime soon. I think once I can implement some more systems into my business, it's going to be a lot easier. Like, I don't know if you, what's his name, Torlando? He is a prime example of, like, a work-life balance. Like, 5 o'clock, that's it. There's no phone calls, there's no texting, everything is shut off, and he spends that from 4 to 9 with his family. And I think that's an inspiration to me, because I really want to get to that. When you're working a job 9 to 5, it's easy to turn off. It's easy to just be like, oh yeah, I don't give a crap about what my boss is doing. But now it's like, I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about, oh, what do I need to get to the job so the guys can get to the thing? Like, even if I turn it off, my brain's still going. So it's definitely a difficult thing.
It's hard, sure. And I've learned that with other contractors. It's a really hard struggle to have that separation. It is, because when you create whatever it is that you're creating, and everything we do, whether you're a plumber, a drywaller, a concrete guy, it's art. And when your mind is artistic like that, you just want to keep going. You want to make this world different, because it's your impression of beauty, so to speak.
Right.
So
sure.
Well, Tyler, I appreciate it. I don't know how a homeless man has a face with his T-shirt on it, but I
don't know either.
You're doing good. Keep it up, and we'll catch up a little later, okay?
Yeah, brother, you got it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Troll Clothing, we need some new hats.
Yeah, we need some hats, or a sweater or something. Maybe a polo. I'll talk to you later.
I need some hoodies. All right, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
Right. Bye.
Bye.